Welcome to the SCLD podcast, where we talk about all the things you can do and find at the library.
Hi, I'm Erin Dodge, the Communications Specialist here at Spokane County Library District. And with me today is Katie Pike. She is an Education and Enrichment Librarian here at the library system. And today we're talking about something really cool that's happening naturally in our universe. And it is the annular solar eclipse in October on the 14th. So welcome, first of all. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you for having me here,
It's
Erin.
the first time we're here on the podcast together, so this is fun. And then, but I was really curious about eclipses. So I've heard of a solar eclipse. I think I've heard of a lunar eclipse. But what's an annular eclipse, and how are they all this different, the same, similar?
So to eclipse is to cover one object over another. But in the terms of a celestial event, the solar eclipse that will be happening on the 14th and also again next April is when the moon actually comes in between the sun and the earth, and a shadow is directed towards earth, and anybody within the path of that shadow will experience a solar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is where the moon is in Earth's shadow. And what we'll be seeing for the annular eclipse is when the moon will almost completely cover the sun. Okay. But not completely. Okay. And so we will still see a ring around the moon where the sun will not be completely obstructed. Okay. And that's why it's very important that we have our planning party so people know that they can view the solar eclipse, but safely, because they cannot view it directly in any way without having some type of protection.
Yes, because you'll damage your eyesight.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So, and you mentioned a planning party. So we are having sort of a planning party before. Several of them throughout the county at our different libraries before the big viewing party at Spokane Valley Library.
Yes.
And so what can people expect at the planning parties?
So the planning parties are a means to learn about solar eclipse, this solar eclipse event, and also have an opportunity to learn a little bit about the sun. And we also have some activities that are interactive that kids can do. Primarily preparing a pinhole viewer where the kids can view indirectly without glasses, so they're not looking directly at the sun. And we take cereal boxes or old boxes and have what we call a pinhole viewer, so that when we direct it towards the sun, we can see the eclipse slowly happening over a period of time. Oh, cool. So that is something that we want people to bring with them to our actual viewing event.
Right. And all the events are all ages. So,
correct.
And parents, you'll want to make sure your young ones know not to look up at the sun unprotected. Again, you're going to have all this kind of information of what's safe and a great way to view it. Yes. And then the viewing party, the time of that, I know it's at 9 a.m. is the start. And that's very important because we can't
need people on time, because the height or the almost height or zenith of the solar eclipse is going to be like at 9:12, I think, roughly about that, 9:10, between 9:10 and 9:14 in the morning. So people need to show up on time. Hopefully they've had the opportunity to go to one of our planning parties so that they can bring their solar viewers with them. Additionally, we will be passing out a limited number of solar eclipse glasses that have been provided to us by StarNet and their partners for free for libraries to provide for these programs. Okay. And we also will have some indirect means to see the solar eclipse viewing besides SunSpotter, our SunSpotter,
so we're going to have
some other devices.
This device, which is the SunSpotter, it's, what is it? The Safer solar telescope. I'm reading right off the front here.
Yes. So we'll have a couple of these available. What's neat is that if aimed directly at the sun, we will be able to see the solar eclipse happening on this piece of paper because
cool.
it comes through the lens and goes and hits several mirrors. And we can even, on occasion, if it's bright enough, we can see sunspots.
Okay.
And it's actually a wonderful tool that can be used not just for solar eclipse, but for general sun science.
Cool.
And then we will also have a live stream of the eclipse going on. And
nice.
my coworker Jeremy is going to hopefully have some like a photo opportunity also set up so that people can take their pictures with the solar eclipse.
Oh, fun. That sounds great. And then for folks that are really interested in the science of our galaxy and universe and our solar system, what kind of materials does the library have for those folks?
Well, for one thing, we do circulate some amazing books.
Yes.
I know here's just an example of a book that we have in our nonfiction children's collection. We also circulate STEM kits that focus on galaxy and solar system science. It's really neat. And I'm also happy to say that we have a library of things.
True.
And we also offer a wonderful service called Book Butler, where you can request a librarian to curate a list if you find that maybe the sheer amount of books in our catalog that are both digital or physical are too much. They can help curate a list for people who want to read. And
that's a really good recommendation, because when you fill out that Book Butler form, you're able to give them notes of what you're interested in or what you're definitely not interested. And if you're looking for books about a certain topic, like I know my son kind of jumps topics and interests. So if he was saying, well, we did the eclipse event, I want to learn more about the moon and the sun and the planets, and that could be in your request, and you can get several kids books. And if you want to follow along, maybe there's an adult STEM type book that would have the science of the galaxy that you can check out. So.
I have to tell you, there are so many other wonderful resources out there.
Yes.
NASA maintains a wonderful website. Their children's website is very accessible. And just even the general news. I mean, we have other countries' efforts of doing space exploration that show up in current news events. It's just awesome.
I love seeing the images. Is it the James Webb telescope?
Oh, there's several telescopes that keep an eye. Yeah, but the James Webb is, I think they're most recent for deep space.
It is amazing, the images that it's sending back to us that we get to see.
Totally.
Oh, and it does it at the different light frequencies, so the infrared and the different spectrums, and our universe, everything is so amazing. It's beautiful out there.
It's just, and to think we're just a tiny
just little specks. But so you mentioned the Library of Things, so I'm just going to switch over to Library of Things.
Yes.
So things would be something like a telescope. Like we have regular telescopes if you want to view the planets in the sky.
We have a nighttime telescope that can be checked out. It's very nice. We've had a lot of positive feedback from different folks who've had the opportunity to borrow it. I think someone was able to see the annual summer. I can't say it either. Anyway,
the comets.
There's an annual celestial event that happens at the end of August that I highly recommend seeing.
I apologize.
I mean, you have to go. Hopefully, not too many see that. But with all the light pollution, it's still powerful enough to see.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Some really neat celestial bodies, planets. Moon. It's really neat. After our event, we're actually going to enter 2 types of items into our collection. We have our sun spotter, which we talked about before. That'll be available for circulation. And like I said, it's not just for solar eclipse, but can be any sun science related. It's a great way to teach about sunspots. And just the rotation the movement of space, as you have to turn it, and then you can even do things like a solar clock if you wanted to partner that with this.
Oh, nice.
But another thing we are circulating, but we will have at the program, these are not regular binoculars. These are called sunoculars.
Okay.
They actually, if you were to look through them, I can't see you at all, but I can see the sun.
Okay.
You can look directly at the sun because these have a
almost
safe
like
filter.
Is it a fancier version of these kind of glasses?
Correct. And we have an adult size and a child size.
Oh, perfect.
Interesting enough, though, a reminder, we do not have a solar eclipse lens for our telescope. So only use our telescope for nighttime
viewing. That makes perfect sense. And you can go on our website at scld.org/things to see the library of things. And, once you're at the website, you can also click on the catalog and start doing searches for books about eclipses, the sun, the galaxy, the universe, and all of that.
And, I have such amazing coworkers here. We're all very happy to help people find what they're looking for.
Definitely come into the library and talk to folks at the desk, and they'll help you find anything. They'll work really hard to find almost anything for you. Even if we don't have it, they'll try to locate it for you online or at another library that we can borrow it from. Yeah, our staff is amazing.
They are.
All right. Anything that we want to plug? So 9 a.m. on October 14th. That's a Saturday. Yes. And that's at Spokane Valley Library on the corner of Sprague and Herald across from the Spokane Valley City Hall. That's where you want to be. You might even want to come a little early, maybe. Free parking, and come and experience the eclipse and work with staff, and there'll be activities and crafts there as well.
The eclipse, not just will it hit its height, but there's a slow, gradual uncovering of the sun that we can still view during that whole program. So
wonderful.
Even if you can't make it exactly right at 9:00, there is still some time to watch some of the eclipse, and it is still a wonderful
event. It's still stunning.
Just even thinking about back to when we had our other total eclipse.
Right.
This one is not a total eclipse. It's an annular. And also we will only be seeing about 74% of coverage of this.
So you're really going to see that sun around.
So that's why we really got to be very careful for our eyes, because, especially our littles, they don't know any better. And
that's true.
All the time. So that's good to set the example. So
wonderful.
All right.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for being here today. This has been a great discussion. I love all of the things, and I love the fact that we get to have this program at the library for people to come and explore and to do it safely.
Yes.
And safety is number one with this one, and we just want to make sure everybody's having a good time, but safely. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching, and we hope you come to the library for the Eclipse and all our other programs. See you next time.